Hi everybody, I'm Holly Cobo from Fitting Fitness In, and welcome to Get Healthy with Holly. Today I have a guest, Ariel Griglin, and she is going to talk to us about meditation. Welcome, Ariel.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So just a little bit of information about Ariel. She is a certified personal trainer through the National Academy of Sports Medicine, which is NASM, if you've seen those acronyms. And she helps people transform their mind and bodies, as well as helps people reverse chronic disease. So she works with clients in their homes in the Palm Beach, Florida area, but she also does telehealth coaching. So you can work with her remotely if you're interested in having Ariel virtually guide you through a meditation to help with your specific ailments. Her website's arielgriglin.com, and we'll put it in the credits at the end so that they can see that as well. So welcome again, Ariel.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
So Ariel and I are coaches in the Facebook group 55 Days Finding the Best in All of Us, and this is a group that Phil Kaplan, who's been my mentor for many years, put together, and the group focuses on helping people get through this quarantine time and coming out better for it on the other side. And Ariel has a show on there called Becoming Lighter with Ariel. And my show is Getting Younger with Holly. So it's great working with you. And I love doing your meditations. I've been doing the meditations a lot more. I've always had a hard time meditating. So I'm really excited to do this show with you because I'm sure I'm not alone. But since I've been doing your meditations in this group, it's been very helpful. So you can help us all.
Yeah, I get that a lot when people haven't meditated in the past, or maybe they have, and it hasn't been the right meditation for them. They have these beliefs that I don't know how to do it, or meditation's not for me. So I think everyone being able to hear your story that you tried it, it was new and it worked for you. I think that's really helpful for people.
Yeah, in the past, it was always hard for me to calm my brain. Everything kept jumping in there. What do you call that? Is that
monkey mind?
Monkey mind.
Yeah.
I had a monkey in my mind.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about meditation. What exactly is meditation?
Meditation can be sitting in what's called a lotus position, in a very comfortable seated position with your hands on your thighs with some soft music. Mm-hmm. That's what a lot of people think of when they think of meditation, but that's not the only type of meditation. In the simplest way to explain it, meditation is a state of mind. So it really comes down to a way that we're focusing our mental state. So I meditate when I'm cooking, I meditate when I'm walking the dog, I meditate when I'm doing things around the house. It's really just finding one point of focus for our consciousness and keeping it streamlined into that level of focus.
Well, I would probably burn the dinner if I was meditating while I'm cooking.
I have to tell you, I've even told people that I meditate when I drive, and they're like, what? That's crazy. How can you do that while you're driving? And they think exactly what you said, like I'd crash the car, or I would end up burning my dinner if I'm doing it while I'm cooking. But it's the complete opposite, because when you're that hyper-focused, you're so zoned in. I'm probably the safest driver in the world when I'm meditating because I'm so aware of everything happening around me.
Wow, okay.
Rather than having thoughts going on in my head and being distracted.
Right. Well, so you've just told us then there's no particular position that you have to be in. You don't have to be in the lotus position because some of us can't get in that position anymore. But how did you come to meditation? What was your story on how meditation, became part of your life?
Well, my world in health and wellness and betterment started when I was really young. When I was actually going into high school, both of my parents were facing life-threatening illnesses, and I saw them go in completely opposite directions. I saw my father kind of say, woe is me, this poor diagnosis, I'm going to eat junk food. And he just kind of went through a downhill battle. And my mom took things in the entirely opposite approach. She said, I'm not going to let this define me. I'm going to take health into my own hands. And she started seeing a holistic nutritionist and becoming aware of her thoughts and the way that she just perceived the world around her. And ultimately, that led to her healing herself. She went to the doctor one day and they said, you're not in remission. We swear you had it, but it's gone.
Wow.
So during that process, I saw firsthand how powerful we can be and the power that we have over our own health when we make that decision. So I was going to different appointments with her when she was learning about mindset and nutrition, and that was the first glimpse for me. Then we can fast forward later in life. I dealt with my own struggles, death, divorce, trauma. And I would say that reignited my my passion with this. And I just dove even deeper and realized that in the midst of trauma or sickness or chaos, the greatest asset we have is our mind if we know how to use it to our advantage. So it was a huge, huge part of my healing process. And when I realized how powerful it was, I became passionate about sharing that with everyone.
Wow. Well, you're absolutely right. Your mind over matter, mind over body. You can push yourself. You can achieve things that you didn't think you ever could, as long as you think I can, like the little red caboose. I think I can, I think I can, I know I can, I know I can. Huh? And so that really does play into it all. And I'm on the board of the Healing Garden, Harvard, Mass, and it's a integrative medicine facility for people going through cancer, supportive facility. And so it's so important for people to really believe and set their future memory or their future self, look at that and see themselves healed as they go along the process. So that's very important. So what are the different ways that people can meditate?
So I mentioned when we first started that some people have meditated before and they've formed a judgment that I don't know how to meditate or it's difficult for me. And sometimes they're just not meditating the right way for them. So every one of us has different strengths when it comes to learning, when it comes to receiving information, and when it comes to meditating. So I like to start with the basics of our 5 senses. Touch, sight, smell, and those are different ways that we can dive into the world of meditation. For example, I'm a very auditory person, so I respond really well anything auditory. So if I'm putting on some soft music, there's some frequencies I like to listen to. There's techniques called sound healing and actually using specific instruments. Those work really well for me. Someone else might be very visual. And if they're a visual learner and they take in information in a visual manner, they can close their eyes and see an entire scenery in front of them. And it's like they're looking at, yeah, like looking at a movie. It can be developed. I've learned to get there, but it wasn't my initial instinct.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's definitely more visual. And when you guide us through the meditations and you give us those visual aids, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
And so you said you can meditate in the car, you can meditate in the kitchen, you can meditate out. I've seen you out sitting in the park meditating. There's no limit to where you can meditate.
And you know what, I'll share, there was a client that I was working with, and I started doing some, it was a visual meditation, but it also engaged some kinesthetic awareness. And she would get to a point where she would say, I don't see the white light. I can't see it. You know, I'm looking for the light all around me and I just can't see it. And then eventually she got to a point where she was telling me and everyone in the facility around, can we do that exercise that we used to do? I love it. So she gained this ability to connect with it. And one of the key elements that I share is when we're meditating, we're training a muscle up here just like we're training our physical muscles. So we don't grow big biceps overnight. It takes a lot of time in the gym, working day after day to grow that muscle. And same thing with our mental muscles. We've got to meditate on a frequent basis to gain that strength and that ability.
So is that every day then?
You know, I don't like to put hard lines on it. Everyone is different. What I will say is that myself and my clients that I've worked with, I've seen challenge when someone puts a time limit on it. So I have to meditate for 20 minutes or I have to meditate for 30 minutes. Discipline is important, but the frequency is more important than the length of time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know about 30 minutes.
Yeah, that can be
I
a long time
would fall asleep.
starting. But I mean, 10 seconds, if you're just shifting your awareness, I'll give you an example with myself. If I'm noticing that I'm very anxious and I've got a million things going on in my mind, for a second, I'll pause and I'll just watch my hands moving as I'm picking things up, or, you know, watch my feet taking steps. And it may only be for 10 seconds. And then I go back to that monkey mind and my to-do list for the day. But it's almost short circuiting that pattern in the brain and pulling me out of those constant worrisome thoughts.
That's interesting. I'm going to have to try that because I always have thoughts going crazy in my head, which makes it tough to sleep.
Yeah.
Or at least if I wake up in the middle of the night, then it's tough to stay asleep. But working on that. So one of the things that, are there different stages that you go through with the meditation?
Well, in the group that you and I have been a part of, we have gone through different energies and learning about our own body and how we can harvest specific colors in the healing process. So it's quite a lot. It's a pretty in-depth process. I'm not going to go through all of the colors with you right now, but let's just say the colors of the rainbows. Each color has an association with different areas of the body, different components of health, and different emotions as well.
Yes. And today was green, or this week was green. So I
Oh,
had on green earlier.
So I'll just give you an example. In the world of quantum healing, everything is a vibration and everything has a frequency. So although we can't see it right now, my shirt is vibrating and has a frequency. The space or this air also is vibrating, and the organ of my heart is also vibrating. So when we can understand that everything in our world has a frequency, that gives us an ability to match up like frequencies to aid in the healing process.
Oh, okay.
So the heart chakra, this energy center, has a frequency that resonates in a similar frequency to the color green.
Oh, is that why? Okay.
So that shows us that in itself isn't going to be the sole answer, but the color green is supportive to cardiovascular and respiratory health.
And I wore green this morning when I was on my exercise bike doing my cardio.
Perfect.
That's interesting. And so, yeah, we've been through red and yellow, and you explained that they all have a certain, a certain point in the body and all that. And we do have a slide that we can put up later that you can see that the different colors. So when you're working with a client, what is the process with meditation? Are they looking for meditation for a particular reason, for an ailment? How does it heal ailments?
That's a really interesting question, because I don't frequently have someone come to me and say, Ariel, I need to be better at meditation. I need to hire a meditation coach. Though once we start through an intake process of them needing greater health or greater fitness, I can recognize that meditation would be a really vital component to whatever ailment or dysfunction that they're dealing with. So it becomes integrated into their lifestyle routine. Usually I will begin guiding the client through a meditation, and I gave the example of an old client of mine who struggled at first. And it's amazing because not only a few weeks later did she go around asking everyone, can we do that exercise? I love that thing with the light around me. But I can see a total shift in her way of life, in her presence, in the way that she carried herself. So I should say it's proof, like just by the fact that she gained that mental muscle, I can see that she was an entirely different person, and she handled family stresses differently. She had more confidence in her own body. It was really incredible to see.
Wow. So what about with illnesses then? Are there certain, well, I guess your mom's situation was exactly the case, you know, is there a way you can direct energy into, you know, healing that ailment or disease?
Well, let's stick to the example of the heart. If someone has a cardiovascular issue, high blood pressure, anything going on with the heart, they can bring their awareness into that energy center and all things that are connected to that energy center. So my belief is that when we have a injury or a diagnosis or any type of pain or illness, it's our body's way of speaking to us. And I have this belief that we are getting messages through our day all day long. And when our body is experiencing something like that, it's kind of like a red flag saying, ding, 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 something's going on here, and it's asking for our awareness. It's asking for us to pay attention. And what happens is we frequently ignore those minute signs, like a little elbow pain or a little bit of a headache or a little bit of a stomach ache. And then that dysfunction starts to continue, and then it manifests into a larger ailment where, you know, a stomach pain might eventually turn into IBS or Crohn's disease.
Yeah, well, that's true.
So I think to answer your question, it's having awareness over our body, having awareness over what's happening within us so that we can address and manage those symptoms before it progresses into something serious.
Right. Great. So do you use meditation with a lot of your clients, or would you say most of them?
I'll share with you that early on in my career, although I witnessed what my mom went through and her ability to self-heal, I was certified through the National Academy of Sports Medicine and just helped people train their physical bodies, doing exercise and flexibility and strength training and resistance, and didn't necessarily incorporate that component of meditation and mindset as heavily as I do now. And now, looking back at my old career, I can see that it's just made such a difference, because when it comes to health, I believe in whole health and congruency. And if we're just focused on the physical component of the body, it's fragmented. So we've got to adjust things from a physical and a non-physical manner. Right.
Yeah, the mental strength and mental abilities, and those all matter. You know, and then their emotions around it. You know, some people, you know, I've worked with clients that I've given them a really good workout, and the next thing you know, they're crying like crazy, and it just brought out all these emotions. Or yoga, you know, somebody might start crying in yoga or get angry or something. You know, it's interesting because it can pull it all out. Right. So I like that meditation pretty much calms things. Because I'm a high energy person, and so sometimes you just have to be calm.
I'll also say that as humans, we journey through life, going through experiences, and sometimes we go through painful experiences, whether it's heartbreak or death or divorce or a diagnosis or financial struggles. And if we don't emotionally process them in the proper manner and allow those painful experiences to be released, they sit with us. And it may not be physical. You may not see a big rock sitting on my chest, but if I have dealt with a heartbreak and I haven't released the emotions that come with that, it's like a ton of bricks sitting on my chest. So we've got to get rid of that, or else it will manifest into disease.
Right. And especially now when we're dealing with this quarantine and COVID-19 and the, just the unknown. And just the fear of going to the grocery store, you could get it, that's a lot of stress right now. So I can see a lot of people needing this. And I was hoping that we would be able to do a quick 5-minute meditation, but it looks like we're running out of time. So maybe if people contact you and say that they saw you through my show, you could give them a little 10-minute meditation?
I would be happy to do that.
Great. So if you are interested, go on up to Ariel's website, arielgriglin.com, and we'll have that posted in the credits of the show, and contact her. And then she's willing to go through, give it a little 10-minute guided meditation for you. I'll tell you, I need the guided ones because that helps me to focus in, because if I'm doing it on my own, I get monkey mind. So. Well, Ariel, this was great information, and I really appreciate you being on my show.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
And thank you, everybody, for listening. And you can find more information about Ariel on her website, arielgriglin.com. You can also find more information on me and our services at fittingfitnessin.com. So thank you for joining us today, and I'll see you next time on Get Healthy with Holly.